Leo, are you alright? Leo. Jess? What's going on?
This and more primitive war content were the most requested videos I've gotten so far this week. The moment it dropped on Sunday, Discord was asking to review it. Go join, by the way. After months, Aslan Studio has dropped yet again another banger. Quite a long one too, so the lore is about to go crazy. The last video had a Argentinosaurus pick up a girl and crush her. This video might contain deaths that are much worse. I'm sure it took a long time to voice, animate and play out the scenes for the latest Prehistoric Emergence episode, so head on over and show your support for Aslan Studio on his channel. If we don't support analog horror creators like this, we won't get more content, so it benefits everyone. Wanna dive straight into the latest episode, but I'm gonna do a brief overview for those who might not know what the Prehistoric Emergence is. Animals from the past are appearing in openings from the earth and are causing havoc on the earth, and it isn't any normal animal problem. These things are specifically targeting humans, and a lot like the large Azdarchids have almost a hive mind when it comes to eliminating our species. They even managed to take over parts of North America. And a lot of these creatures have an almost supernatural tendency to distort electronics, especially the T-Rex. Locals have called this thing the Dabba, that can not just manipulate electronic devices, but it talks too. It also is only a baby, so there is an adult version that's hundreds of feet long out there somewhere. All of this seems to be linked to a statue called Quetzalcoatl, a Mayan deity that has seen over the creation of Earth and humans. However, this entity may now be bringing these organisms back from the past as punishment for the way we treat the Earth right now. It just shows up ominously in some shots and has shut down entire news stations just by putting up its image. But that's just a summary. You can watch all the videos from Aslan Studio himself and mine and analyze these events in detail. With all of that out of the way, let's start with the newest episode. Starts off pretty tame, I will say, but weird at the same time, as there's a gentleman who's doing a vlog of some sort, or at least is just recording himself eating some Cameloceros calamari. Yeah, he's eating prehistoric cephalopods, baby ones. By the way, is it just me or is that Marcus? Yup, just looked it up in the description and they got him to act it out. If you're confused already, don't worry, it's getting to be more popular since in previous episodes people started making some use of the prehistoric animals and this is one of them. He just describes how the meat tastes good, which I highly doubt. I don't care how much the FDA approves this, never am I going to eat some prehistoric animal raw.
Now I know, raw squid might be a turnoff to some people, but it is worth noting that this has been deeply frozen to eliminate bacteria, making it safe to eat. You can absolutely cook them if you prefer, but personally, I love the unique texture they have when raw. My only gripe with this dish is that it isn't exactly budget friendly. It's about $60 per squid, but it's still not even close to being one of the more expensive prehistoric dishes out there, as I believe Devonian tuna sells for about $4.50 per pound.
Excuse me? How much? Egg prices are already stiff in this economy and people are out here spending almost $500 for a pound of fish. Anyway, weird food reviews aside, his front door sensor goes off not too long after. He did ask his wife to check it out because he's busy and his son needs to sleep for school, but the only reply he gets is a scream followed by clicks and distorted voices.
Tempura.
Recognized. Front door opening.
Alexa, turn off music. Hey sweetie, I'm filming, can you check if Leo's asleep? He's got school in the morning. Jess? Jess? Leo, are you alright? Leo? What the?
Front door opening. Alexa, open the front door.
Man, these deaths keep getting sadder and sadder, except for the vlogger girl. She just low-key messed around and found out. But that large raptor, I'm assuming a Utah, killed the wife and the child and started to use their voice. I mean, imagine thinking your wife fell down or there was just an accident or something upstairs just to see a blood stain followed by a feathered demon spewing out the last words of your partner before ending you as well. Of course, they weren't the only family who got attacked, so eventually GPAC is sent out since the local authorities, well, they aren't really equipped to deal with dinosaurs. It's here where we meet what I think is going to be the main character for this episode, called Gray.
Shouldn't local PD be handling missing persons?
Local PD handled it until remains surfaced yesterday. The dental marks don't match anything in our records. The incident sparked widespread panic, particularly for Senator Brian Hill, whose granddaughter lives in the Shadow Valley. The senator backs crucial legislation benefiting GPAC, so reassuring him is vital.
Understood.
So, after all of the deaths happening even with GPAC's assistance, they aren't getting enough federal funding from bigger sources, so they rely solely on a few sponsors that still decide to fund them. This time it's Senator Brian Hill, whose daughter lives in Shadow Valley where all the attacks happen. So after she's been evacuated from her house, it's been used as a sort of base for operations for Gray and another GPAC agent called Patch, who's a field tech responsible for setting up a perimeter, as well as other, well, nerdy tech stuff.
What's the operational parameters?
Meet up with the field tech, Patch. He'll stay at the granddaughter's residence. She and her family have already been evacuated. Keep a low profile. We can't risk civilian curiosity. You've been issued a non-marked civilian vehicle for discretion. Patch is handling surveillance, setting up infrared cameras and motion detectors in the surrounding woods. The suspected habitat of your target. Your directive: identify and eliminate the threat upon confirmation. That's all, Gray. Patch has already arrived. Update me after you've reviewed the situation, and proceed with extreme caution. High Command out.
Generally, I'd say it's normal for an organization like the FBI or CIA to be discreet and go undercover for certain missions, but the higher-up seems more eager than usual to do so, and I'm not sure if it's to keep public suspicion down alone. It makes me wonder if it's even recognized as a legal organization after everything that's happened in certain states, or is it now just entirely private owned? Regardless, Gray finally meets up with Patch, who's not what you'd expect for our agent personality wise.
Private Gray, right?
Has High Command briefed you?
Basic rundown. It's just good to finally get field action.
Before we proceed, I'm going to need to review the victim's autopsy report and scene documentation. Do you have them?
They're on my laptop. Didn't look yet myself. Kinda want to be surprised by whatever this creature turns out to be.
Trust me. You don't.
Well, aside from Gray being an edgelord of sorts, Patch definitely gives off the vibe of a newbie, or at least someone who hasn't done enough work in the field. They eventually get inside and Gray reviews all the necessary information to see what's the next course of action.
Ray, how many ops have you run before?
Enough to keep us both breathing.
It's a boring answer. Should I be worried about having a private on this mission?
We're well geared, and I'm trained to handle prehistoric threats.
Regardless of the training, I've seen a lot of soldiers struggle with the Asdarkadai and theropods.
GPAC prioritizes numbers over preparation. Their program mostly covers usage of firearms. Most aren't educated on the creature's behavior or their anatomy. I train beyond that, on my own terms.
Sounds personal. You got some sort of blood feud with the creatures?
Focus on the mission, Patch. This animal we're hunting isn't an Asdarkadai. It broke into a locked home. That's something we haven't seen from the other creatures.
At least it can fit in the house. I might be a little worried if we were hunting something that couldn't.
Don't get too cocky.
I agree with Gray 100% on this one. I've always said, and even some newer subscribers will know, that I fear something like a Deinonychus more than a T-Rex, because one you could see cover from in a building, but the other will go wherever you could go. So if there's something capable of killing multiple families while small enough to enter a small door, I wouldn't be so eager to enter the field as Patch. We also get a bit more lore on Gray's dark personality. He's likely been doing this from the start of Prehistoric Emergence and knows much more than even the best trained agents in GPAC, understanding the anatomy and where to target these creatures, one of which he instantly knocked off the list, being a member of the Asdarchidae family. The fact that this was the first animal he was looking for though, shows just how bad the giant pterosaurs are, at least in this part of the world. But Patch finally gets to go in the field with his fellow agent, or basically caregiver to be honest, and manages to learn even more things about Gray.
I'm just trying to learn. I don't want to be the guy called in to just set up cameras, you know?
We were on a Quetzalcoatlus extermination op. When we arrived, we found it perched on top of a high school, Palmer Ridge. The school was on lockdown. We were about to open fire on it, but that's when we noticed it was tracking something. A student. Some punk kid was skipping class to play some game. Aiden Lewis. He was hiding when it noticed him. He leapt off the building and went after him. We were given orders to hold our fire. But one of the guys, he broke, fired early. He took the thing down, but a stray bullet. The kid didn't last 2 minutes. Now, GPAC's been facing legal hell. We're not here to protect the people. We're here to impress the senator. Stay alert.
So in under 3 minutes we got some insane lore. Gray here was on a mission once with some other field agents when some Quetzalcoatlus attacked or were hunting near a school, and one kid who decided to skip class was out in the open. Damn, would have probably been me. I'm just kidding, extra stuff wasn't a delinquent. Most of the time. One soldier cracked under the pressure despite being told to hold his fire, and one of the bullets hit the kid and killed him along with the pterosaur. Good thing it wasn't a hat, those things are notoriously durable in this universe. So after that it makes a lot of sense why GPAC is facing serious legal issues and why a lot of people are backing out. So this mission basically is to not disappoint the senator, so at least one big shot is still on their side. They don't get to talk about past field work much longer though, because there's a bloody handprint on the tree and immediately Stormtrooper Gray pulled out his pistol, which looks like it could destroy a small car. Not too far behind them is the Utah tracking them from a distance. Crazy how an animal that weighs twice as much as both of the field agents combined moves much more silently. Normally I'd say it would attack two people since I'm sure it has the power to do so, but it seems to recognize that these guys have deadly weapons in their arms, so it's just observing for now. Maybe a previous victim had a firearm and it found out just how dangerous they can be.
Surveillance just went live.
Acknowledged. It's crucial that we provide the senator some reassurance. Maintain 24/7 surveillance until the target is located.
Understood, High Command.
Is he serious? 24/7 surveillance.
This is the job, Patch. We'll split 2-hour shifts on the feed. I'll take first watch. Try to get some rest in the meantime.
24 hours looking at the screen seems just rough to me. Even with the shifts, after hour 6 the dinosaur could dance in front of the camera and I would not notice it. Gray Superior's main goal, though at least from what I'm getting, is to reassure the senator. Like, this guy is definitely what's holding a good amount of GPAC together.
A day of surveillance and 0 leads is unacceptable. I'm losing confidence in your ability to see this operation through. Patrol the forestry and double your surveillance coverage.
Understood,
Give
sir.
wide coverage of the area. What you're suggesting would cost us unnecessary resources. If the target is in the area, we'll find it. Efficiently.
You have 6 ours. Don't disappoint me, Gray.
Hey, Gray, we got something. That's...
A direct engagement. The target wiped out a pack of dire wolves. Stay on the feed. I'll investigate.
You'll need backup. Let me come with.
Negative. Maintain eyes on the grid. If I need backup, I'll call for it.
Gray, this creature is not...
Now's not the time, Patch. Trust me.
Yeah, Gray's boss almost certainly doesn't care, even about really protecting civilians. Dude just wants proof of whatsoever dinosaur in the area, so the senator can still support them. Don't even think he cares about the field agents. What am I saying? It's a higher up, of course he doesn't. So Gray recommends that he be given more time and get 6 hours. And just before he does anything else, Patch catches a pack of direwolves who are just on the ground slaughtered in the woods. If a Raptor can do that to a pack of direwolves, then I don't know what Gray's gonna do. That part I agree on Patch with. But Gray, being Gray, wants to do it alone, so he does. But Patch basically manipulates his superior in a way that makes him send Patch with Gray. And well, honestly, top tier gaslighting. Well done, Patch.
Should be close.
Gray, give me an update.
We've hit a minor setback, but we're continuing our search now.
We sighted a prehistoric creature, sir.
Yes, but it's a juvenile herbivore, a non-threat. The target may still be in the area.
The Senator wants results, so leaving empty-handed is not an option. Any prehistoric kill proves we're capable of doing our job.
With all due respect, I don't see how executing a harmless
Jesus
creature...
Christ, Gray! Execute the creature or both of you will be discharged!
Are we going to...
That scared the crap out of me. When I was watching this on the TV, I was drinking coffee and all I saw was a big brown thing jump out of these two. And that gave me more heart damage than the caffeine. But my heart attack aside, the higher up in this situation is extremely desperate. It doesn't even matter if it's the correct animal, all he wants is one prehistoric thing dead so GPAC can still be kept up. More we see Gray, the more you realize he's the type of guy who's tough as nails but cares about right and wrong despite him not really showing it. As for Patch, well, my boy ran for the hills, huffing and puffing harder than I did when I lost my phone at the grocery store checkout. I mean, I can't even laugh at him, because I'd either just pull the trigger randomly or also book it. Gray does end up eventually putting the track down though, but isn't happy about it. The opposite can be said for his superiors though.
I don't know.
I had to take her down. She saw me as a threat to her kid. Let's go.
Well done, Gray. This should keep the Senator very satisfied. And given your patrol of the region, we can conclude the target is no longer in the area. Pack it up. We're done here.
What a dick. If there's anyone else who has to die, let it be him. Do it as in studios, kill him. Kill him off. At first I was somewhat willing to hear him out because maybe he was just that adamant about keeping the organization alive, but that laugh sounded like a madman's laugh. Maybe I'm still overanalyzing it and he is just relieved that there's now some confirmation that GPAC will still get support, but still man, that baby Trek calling for his dead mother is heartbreaking. So with the mission basically over in the boss's eyes, Patch and Gray go back to the house to collect their things, but as expected for someone with Patch's personality, he tries to find some way of making the situation somewhat positive.
Hold up.
What are you doing?
Gotta be some here. Ah, haha. What do you say?
Yup, nothing like a bottle of happy juice to lighten up the situation. And as with all people who partake in the consumption of the relax potion, past secrets they'd usually take to the grave start to come out.
Some conspiracy theorists are saying that GPAC has that weird T-Rex, the Daba, locked up at Area 51. I think it's some bullshit, but it would be pretty cool.
Interesting.
Gray, I went to school for mechanical engineering. Graduated, got the job, did everything right. But I never felt it. Purpose. So why'd you join, then?
I'd rather not.
Come on, Cray. What do you have to lose, huh?
Okay. I was there when it happened. The massacre. I lost someone important to me that day. Joining GPAC has been my penance.
What was their name?
Max.
What were they like?
He couldn't take anything seriously. A real jackass, too. But I miss him. It was nice meeting you, Patch.
Yeah. Likewise.
Honestly, seems like a normal heart-to-heart conversation you'd have with one of the boys. Patch's story is, I don't want to say basic, but also not really uncommon. You know, the kid who doesn't want a boring job and instead wants something more exciting. While Gray's past is the furthest from. He only joined due to guilt. Maybe if he helps prevent deaths of other people, he could eventually find forgiveness in the future, or perhaps forgive himself from Max's death from the T-Rex. I will say though that Patch, now realizing that the field work isn't all sunshines and rainbows, is valid. You only get a sense of just how serious the situation is once you get put in it. And I don't like how Gray talks about Max, not in a bad way, it just makes me think that he's kinda comparing Max to Patch, which means Patch might die later on. And Gray 100% knows the Daba is in fact not a myth. With him being a senior in GPAC, he probably could have even guarded it at some point. The nice remarks and compliments don't last too long, however, as things suddenly go from 0 to 100 real quick, with the higher up being the one who's seriously stressed out.
Gray, do you read me?
We read you, High Command.
We have a situation. You're heading back to the Shadow Valley. After Gray neutralized the Triceratops, we declared the sector clear. The Senator moved his daughter back in. And now, we've been notified that Miss Hills hasn't been seen or heard from anyone in over 24 hours. A neighbor claims to have heard a child screaming for help in the forest. While on her morning walk, Miss Hills reportedly heard this. For some goddamn reason. She went in to help. And you two will make sure she leaves unharmed. I've sent you both the coordinates of where she was last seen. If I recall correctly, you two were responsible for confirming the area to be clear of all threats. Now, tell me, Gray, do you believe in God?
I do.
Well, pray to your God that this operation goes your way.
That has got to be the most rage bait statement I've heard yet on this series so far. Imagine blaming your field agents for not sweeping the entire perimeter when you're the one who prevented them from finding the real culprit and pulling them out early. For a damn senator. Now it's all gone downhill because the senator's daughter is now missing. To be honest, it's natural selection. Why would you hear a child screaming in the forest and run after it? Regardless of if you're superstitious or not, let's be real. Who is going into a forest to look for a screaming child that coincidentally sounded off the moment you appeared? If you're one of those people, I hope you don't live near the Appalachian Mountains. And the gall to ask Gray if he believes in God because he's gonna need him is crazy. I would have crashed out and just risked my life leaking private information on the internet as one final spite for GPAC before they kill me. So now Patch and Gray have to go back into the forest to look for the senator's smooth-brained daughter who followed the child's voice. The only thing I agree on the higher up with. I don't care if you think I'm insensitive, it's true.
We're coming!
That's not her.
I just... Oh my god. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Get a fucking grip of yourself, Patch. I need you here, with me. I need you at your 100. Are you good? It's hunting us.
Yeah, that's basically a wrap for Mrs. Hills. I doubt she had an anime moment where her ear was just sliced off and she got away. Best you could do is put it in a gift bag and give it to the senator. We found your daughter, but it's up to you to find the remainder of the puzzle. Aside from Gray realizing that whatever is screaming isn't human, the sound seems to be coming from different directions, so either that's one fast Utahraptor or we got a whole pack, which now makes more sense for a direwolf massacre. As for Patch, well, the poor guy's having a meltdown and Gray has to snap some sense into him. Was surprised how quickly he got it together though, to be honest. With that said, it seems like the earlier statement I made regarding how Gray sees Patch comes true because the series of events that happens next, well, take a look.
Patch is MIA. I'm down to my last bullet. I need backup.
Acknowledged. Continue your search for Miss Hills. Backup is nearby.
Fuck. High Command. Update Aaron Singh's status to KIA. Requesting a recovery team.
We don't have time. The priority is
Called it. Patch has been torn apart by the raptors and there's more than one. Gray on the other hand seemed to drop one of the animals without much issue, and when Gray did request for a recovery team for Patch, his bastard higher up could only say the primary objective is to collect the senator's daughter, to which Gray just throws the walkie-talkie away. Patch's killer wasn't that far behind though. As a matter of fact, it was right behind Gray, but our boy went full commando mode and fought the grizzly bear-sized theropod to the very end. And when I mean end, I'm talking about the raptor's end because Gray wins somehow and ends up in critical condition. He took out the entire pack as a matter of fact. However, since the daughter is dead, GPAC has officially hit rock bottom and things are getting really bad. Without further funding and even less recruits, a full-on draft could soon ensue.
Our field tech, Aaron Singh, call sign Patch, is confirmed KIA. Private Gray has sustained critical injuries. Survival is uncertain. We believe him to be responsible for neutralizing the entire pack and for killing one of the targets with a combat knife. Our recovery team could not locate Sarah Hills or the remains of any other missing persons. We cannot confirm her death, although Senator Brian Hills has expressed disinterest in working with GPAC in the future. We failed. Palmer Ridge, France. Now Shadow Valley. Without legal backing, we are projected to suffer sharp declines in recruitment and funding. Our emergency power bill is unlikely to pass in any member nation. That bill would have enforced a draft during states of emergency, with the only exception being a fine of $1 million USD. Without it, we lose manpower, enrollment, and leverage. But there are other options. My recommendation is to divert funding from training programs and medical discharge stipends to our operations at Paradise Ranch.
So it's just as I thought from the beginning. This senator was one of the last groups authorizing GPAC to legally do what they want to do on this scale, so a draft may be inevitable. However, this is where GPAC's communist shows. Sure, they say that the pregnant, disabled or children will be given somewhat special care during missions. However, they also say that priority citizens who pay $1 million will get the same treatment too. Imagine needing to pay $1 million to avoid getting drafted. Obviously, this is something 99.9% of the population can't do, so almost every capable person is getting sent to fight prehistoric creatures, some of which have supernatural capabilities like the Daba, who is still in containment. Well, you would have had to do all of that if the bill was proposed legally, so thankfully without government support, they can't enforce it, or not yet at least. For the time being, GPAC will consider taking their funds from medical and training programs and transporting them to operations in Paradise Ranch, which is where most of the prehistoric animals are held. So they've gone desperate now, to the point where much less qualified people will soon be out due to lack of training. As for the Dabble, well, the lead scientist has found some more unnatural things about this T-Rex, who again is still a baby despite being 40 feet or longer. The higher up also says that these findings could prove useful in the future. This almost certainly means innocent lives may be at stake, seeing how short funding is. There could be a chance, and this is a long shot, but GPAC could use some of the supernatural abilities of this T-Rex to spark fear and rain havoc, depending on where it is. And when they contain it or any other animals they let loose, the government will have to support them because of how efficiently they detain the creatures in quotation marks. This sounds weird, but even in real life, different world leaders, corrupt ones at least, have done things as bad or even worse than this to trick the public into supporting them. But only future episodes will say for sure. But that's it for this one, guys. Again, amazing work by Ascent Studios. His voice actors, animators, and other people who worked in the video was really well done. Whenever Aslan or Paleovoid drop content, you know it's gonna be good. So again, check out their channel and show your support. My video did not cover the entire episode, it only showed like some of the full video, so I highly recommend you watch the entire thing on Aslan's channel for the full effect. But that's all for now folks, I will see you Sunday. Oh, almost forgot, one more thing since I won't see you Saturday.